Washington Commanders cornerback Emmanuel Forbes Jr. didn't play like a first-round pick in 2023, and he needs to bounce back this season if he's going to stay on the roster beyond 2024.
The kid is working his butt off, and I'm pleased with where he is. I can tell you that 100%.
How's it going today? My name is Jesse McNamer, and welcome to Point of View. Before we get into it today, I just want to say we always appreciate your feedback and look forward to reading your comments like the one we've got here. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode to see if you can guess today's trivia question down below. To today's topic, can Emmanuel Forbes Jr. earn the trust of the new coaching staff in DC after proving the doubters right in his rookie season? The 16th overall pick in the 2023 draft had a ton of hype when he entered the league after he racked up 14 interceptions in 3 seasons, including an FBS record 6 pick sixes. He was named a consensus All-American in 2022 and entered the 2023 draft with all the momentum in the world. But the draft combine was where signs that he may not be ready for the NFL started to pop up. Although he was as athletic as any player in the class, his lack of size was obvious on the field, and it proved itself when he weighed in at 166 pounds. Still, former head coach Ron Rivera loved what he saw and took him in the middle of the first round. Slightly controversial at the time, but not that big of a risk considering the potential he had. And that potential is still there, but it didn't show last season as he was constantly manhandled at the line of scrimmage and struggled to stay on the field. He got consistent snaps in the first 4 weeks, but was benched in week 6 and only saw 10 snaps over the next 2 games. In week 9, he had a huge bounce back against the Patriots, where he played 75% of the defensive snaps and collected 3 tackles and 2 pass breakups. But playing time dipped again, and a week 11 injury only furthered the issues. He returned after the week 14 bye for the final 4 games of the season and played nearly every snap in the last 2 games to gain some momentum heading in the offseason, but still nothing was proven or guaranteed. And the uncertainty only increased when the coaching staff that put their trust in Forbes Jr. was fired and a new staff headed by Dan Quinn entered the fold. As training camp began, Forbes Jr. understood that he has a lot to prove. Here's what he had to say when asked what it's like to enter the season with a clean slate.
Yeah, because I have to prove that I'm worthy to play for these coaches. They didn't draft me, and just like you said, everybody in the locker room feel like they have something to prove and feel like we have a lot of talent. So we just got to put it to use.
You have to admit, he's got a good head on his shoulders for a kid who will be 23 years old for the entire 2024 season. And saying the right things is the first step in the right direction, but he's already put some of it into action. He reportedly came into training camp with an extra 17 pounds of muscle, a huge difference from last season. He's still smaller than what you'd want from a physical corner, but 17 pounds is nothing small, and he's already feeling the benefits. Here's what Forbes Jr. had to say when asked how the added weight will translate on the field.
It's making me more explosive, more fast, and honestly just maturing will help my game this year. I matured a lot over the offseason, found out a lot about myself, and just looking forward to it.
You mentioned maturity, and that's a big step too, because unlike other sports like baseball, you have to be ready to play at a very young age or face the risk of being out of the league and your lifelong dreams out the window, especially without the staff that drafted you. And that reality was made even more clear when the Commanders released their first unofficial depth chart and Forbes Jr. was listed as a reserve. I want to stress heavily that the depth chart is unofficial, and coaches across the league swear it means next to nothing. But they put the names in order they do for one reason or another, so just because Forbes Jr. has made progress, he can't take a breath yet. And luckily, he got on the good side of defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. early on. Here's what the DC had to say about his first impression of Forbes Jr. a couple of months ago.
I've seen a young man that is every day getting better, getting used to my hard coaching. He's a kid that has a really good skill set, and just like the rest of the young guys, he's out there working his butt off, and I've been pleased with him.
Forbes Jr. is going to want to make sure his DC stays pleased with him because the Commanders drafted another corner in the second round, so his successor could already be on the team. And if the turnaround doesn't happen this season, he could quickly become one of the biggest busts in recent memory, and it makes it all that much worse that it would be for a franchise without a ton of recent success. I like what I'm seeing from the kid. There's a long way to go before he has a spot in this league. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the Commanders team of old. The new ownership provides a little added stability that the DC area has needed so bad for so long. For more on that, check out this past episode of Point of View. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning to this episode of Point of View, and we will see you in the next one.